Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods and goddesses. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Alif. And today, family, we're going to cover how to eat to live or die. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, it's just overwhelming how much pseudoscience is out there in this day and time. Know what I mean? And since we're in this age of information, people just plagiarize other mythologies and misinterpretations and misunderstandings and misapplications. So today, family, I want y'all to look at some real basic concepts. Know what I mean? Now, there's a lot of foods out there, a lot of drinks. Know what I mean? But I don't want to stray too far into all of that because there are thousands of herbs on the face of the planet Earth. Most of them are good. Know what I mean? Most of them are decent, but some of them can kill you. So my problem is you have to be careful when you tell people to eat this and don't eat that. Human beings are not all the same. We're not all alike, if you will. Know what I mean? I remember as a young man growing up uh, in Philadelphia, my grandmother, you know, we used to eat over her house and she would, have different family members in the same household. It'd be like my grandmother, my grandfather, my little cousins, my uncles, my aunts, different family members. Know what I mean? And we could not eat the same food. Even as a young child, I realized that my grandfather wouldn't get certain foods. And you're like, oh no, your grandfather, he can't eat that. He has an ulcer. So he couldn't eat spicy food. He had to eat what they call a bland diet. So he wasn't the type that can eat some raw garlic or some hot peppers and red onions. Even though these things are generally healthy to eat, I love hot stuff. I put hot sauce on all kind of stuff. Know what I mean? But I didn't know that it was a lot of salt inside that stuff mixed with the vinegar and peppers and whatever the case may be. I didn't understand genetics. I didn't realize that my grandparents would ultimately die from cancers, and then my mother would die from cancer. Then my aunts would die from cancer. I'm like, whoa, cancer runs in our family. Now, I mean, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You know, I would be over my grandmother's house and she'll have stuff like this is back in like the 70s. She'll have like pork. She'll buy the physical skin of the pig. She would buy the pig's feet. Those of you that's a little older, I mean, I'll be 59 tomorrow. I mean, back in the day, she would get the Sunday newspaper, and unlike in this day and time where you just go to a supermarket and buy some meats, you could literally buy like a quarter of a cow. I mean, like you get the ribs, you can get the hamburger, the steaks, whatever. Now, I mean, you get scrapple, all parts of the pig, the ears, whatever. Now, I mean, and I just remember in that household, family members that used to eat the pig feet, and it amazed me that when they eat pig, me personally, I never ate the pig's feet. I ate a lot of pork, but I wouldn't eat the pig's feet because it just didn't look right. Now I mean, I ate stuff worse than the pig feet, like scrapple. Now I mean, but you know, not having the science and the knowledge and the holistic information on the proper foods to eat to much later in my life, I seen people eating different things. Like I seen them cleaning pig guts or chitlins and how they would soak them in the sink. And, I seen my grandfather putting red, white, and blue crabs in a pot. And the crabs be trying to get out and banging on the side. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, you murdering the crabs. I mean, he used to put the green tomatoes and cucumbers inside his 5-gallon bucket with the spices and garlic and vinegar and all that. And he used to make his own pickled tomatoes and pickled hot peppers and all that stuff. And I fell in love with that stuff. I used to love eating olives and all that kind of stuff. Know what I mean? And, seeing the pig's feet, I noticed that when that pork would cool off, glue or something came out, the fat would literally congeal and the bones would stick to the plate. And my grandmother had to literally scrape the pig's feet off the plate into the trash before she washed the dishes. So I something intuitively, my common sense, my intuition told me God don't eat that kind of stuff. Nah, I'm good with that. Nah, I mean, but I ate the pork, what they call them back then, they call them pork rinds. Nowadays, they call them skins. They have barbecued skins in the bag. But back in the day, they didn't go to the store to buy them. They made them home from scratch. Now, I mean, they would literally deep fry the pig skin and season it up, put some salt, pepper, hot sauce on it, whatever. They ate the ultra processed. This ain't potato chips. This ain't Pringles. This was potato sticks in a can, for those of you that remember them. Now, I mean, so all these types of food, the white breads, she had the little plastic blue sugar container. I'm putting all this sugar inside my cereal, Cheerios. We had the corn flakes, the shredded wheat, whatever. But, you put a lot of sugar on that stuff. Now, I mean, let it soak it, and at the end, it's all this sugar left at the bottom of the bowl. We just stir it up, and I just drink that sugary, milky crap. Now, I mean, and this was life in the hood. This was a daily thing. Now, I mean, and I noticed a tremendous difference when I walk down the street, just about 2 minutes down. I go to the end of the block. My grandmother lived in the middle of the block. I go to the end of the block to my aunt's house. Now, remember, my grandmother's daughter is my beloved, now deceased, Aunt Piggy. She was a big, beautiful woman. She was not shy of her weight. She wasn't sloppy type big. She was a beautiful woman that men came to date her and all that. She was not shy. She knew she was beautiful. She was a full-figured black woman, you know what I mean? But she ate a lot of pork, you know what I mean? And my other aunt, my Aunt Ola Hassan, who was a member of the Nation of Islam, when I come in her house, it was just a different atmosphere. Like now it's like, she's like eating to live in here. Like she's into, she like what you was eating, and she want to detox me. She giving me carrots and raw garlic and watermelon, and she making homemade stuff from whole grains and things of that nature. There, it was just a different type of nutrition, a different mental food as well as physical food. It was a literal different spiritual energy or spiritual food in her household that she used to feed us with. Now, I mean, and her daughter is actually the first one I ever seen that made what some would call orange French fries. But her thing was like, instead of frying the French fries in peanut oil and lard and shortening and corn oil and all this stuff that raised your cholesterol, she would bake some regular, organic, all natural sweet potatoes. And I'm like, yo, this healthy stuff actually tastes better than McDonald's. Better than the deep fried fries that I love, them French fries with ketchup and hot sauce and salt and pepper. And, I used to love that stuff, but I seen my blood pressure start boiling over, my cholesterol levels, my face, I start getting bloated, start getting acne from drinking the sodas and the high fructose corn syrups and things of that nature there. So I noticed that in my grandmother's house, we could not all eat the same. Like they'd be like, okay, the baby had to eat baby food. The other baby was breastfed. The children, they got small portions and, sit down at the little table on the floor. The teenagers, they got big portions. I mean, they could eat more, some of the women that was, watching that weight, if you will, they'd be like, "Oh no, that's no, take some of that off. That's not it's too much. I don't eat dark meat. Just give me the white meat. I don't eat white. Just give me the so and so don't eat black eyed peas or whatever the case may be." So it became clear to me that eating is not a cookie cutter thing where you could just tell people eat this and not that. Now, I mean, like everyone's diet is the same. Some people need extra protein. I know I had a friend, she had low iron. I mean, she her blood literally needed more dark green vegetables. Now I mean, it's so certain foods are needed by some people and it's not by others. So one of the things the messenger taught us was that, the Savior taught him, say for example, rye bread. He said rye bread is fine for a hardy worker. Like if you're doing construction, you play football, basketball, you real athletic, you got a high metabolism, you eat some stone ground wheat bread, but your body might burn it up so fast. I know when I was a teenager, I did sports, gymnastics, football, you name it. I was always hungry. So I overate and I wouldn't gain weight because I would burn that stuff up so much because we ripping and running all day long. Now I mean, as I start getting older, that crap starts sticking to you. The body couldn't process it as efficiently. So you gotta realize that your diet changes as the weather changes, as your age change, your psychosis change. Now I mean, so one of the things that I want to look at is the fact that everything simply is just not for everybody. If you see all these fad diets, they telling you just eat protein, just eat the vegetables, just eat fruit, just drink juice, just drink the milk, just drink coconut milk. It's like you gotta weigh the pros and cons of all that kind of stuff. Now I mean, I definitely would consider in this day and time the safest, most healthiest, most nutritious way of eating. I ain't gonna say diet, I mean, because we're not trying to die, but the way the world is at its present state, I have to ride with the vegans, the vegetarians. The vegetarians, the new school call them vegans, whatever. I have issues with a lot of the extremism with anything. My thing is the ancient principles of my act: balance, peace, truth, health, nutrition, wealth, freedom, justice, equality. This is the holistic way we want to try to live our lives if we can. Now I mean, I seen vegetarians that were extremely unhealthy. I seen vegans that ate cookies and potato chips, and I'm like, yo, what is you doing? You gonna kill yourself. You be better off getting you a piece of lean fish, some chicken, some just a balanced diet, if you will, than you just eating all this processed vegetables. Now I mean, I remember back in like the 80s and 90s, I mean, a lot of my friends and comrades, they was into like physical fitness. So, we doing our weight training at that time, boxing and all that stuff. And a lot of them was like eating all this tofu. And they be like, no, don't give me that. Give me the tofu. I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian. And I'm like, yo, you taking in all this synthetic estrogen into your system, and they was just getting sicker and sicker. Some of them gained weight from that stuff. I've been on both sides. I didn't eat the poison, and I ate the better foods, if you will. I used to be deep into how to eat to live. When I say deep, I mean so deep, like no food, no water, 7 days, 7 nights straight with different brothers. Now I mean, I've been on not just food fast, but we blindfold ourselves, go on sight fast. We won't look at anything for 2-3 days. We go on talk fast. Somebody show a piece of paper, I'm on the talk fast. I won't say a single word for 72 hours. Know what I mean? So it's all types of different fasts that you're not going to see on YouTube or get from different people, but those fasts are real. Those fasts are helpful, but they're not a fix it all. I don't claim to know it all. I don't claim that I have the answer to everyone's nutrition. Know what I mean? Nutritional needs. It's like, no, you can only know that. It's like some days you just feel hungry. Some days you don't feel hungry. If you don't feel hungry, that's your body telling you don't eat. I mean, if your body is growling and like, yo, feed me, listen to your body. Listen. One thing about this universe, no matter whether I don't believe in organized religion, I don't want to hit y'all in the head with religion in an organized sense. Now, I mean, I'm coming in a more holistic type of way, but I'm a student follower of the Most High Elijah Muhammad's teachers. I believe that only the messenger's message will guide us through this age of mess. However, there's a lot of wrong mental food that people eat because of misunderstanding and misinterpretation and misapplication of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You got believers that think we supposed to be eating bean pies and fish and brown rice and wheat bread and you read the book. Listen, don't listen to me. Don't listen to others. Read it for yourself. Study it for yourself. Analyze it, depthalize it, scrutinize it. He tells you in his books, How to Eat to Live, Book 1, 1967, as well as How to Eat to Live, Book number 2, 1972. He makes it plain and simple. He's like, listen, originally, humanity was created, we only were vegetarians. That's the original thing. He explained in this present day and time, he explained that the best food is the vegetarian way of life. He explained in the future, there will only be one diet, and that will be a organic, vegan type of lifestyle. So that's the premise. That's what he tells you how. But his thing is like, okay, at that time, you had 17 million so-called Negroes in America coming through slavery, suffering and death, having to eat so-called soul food. So the Savior was like, listen, you can't eat all the vegetables and fruits on the planet. I mean, you can't, people be like, well, I'm a vegan, so I'm just going to eat this, that, and the other. It's like, yo, you can't eat raw food. Raw juice can kill you. You know how strong your body was not designed to drink a lot of fruit juices. I mean, it's like it was designed to take the fruit, eat the fruit, and let that fruit be processed. But you got to keep in mind, fruits are native to your nature. I mean, like if we came from Africa and we came to the United States of America and we're like, okay, we're eating fruit in the United States of America. This fruit is alien to our DNA in Africa. Now, of course, the original people lived all over the planet Earth, so we adapt or we die. I mean, so we can assimilate things. There is a law called the law of environmental heredity where we can inherit the traits of our environment. If I take and go outside and I run barefoot every day, I run 3 miles barefoot, and I take and do 300 pull-ups every day. You know what I mean? And you see me next month, you be like, yo, your body, the atoms of your body change. Your DNA, your brain sent a signal, and new thick skin grew at the bottom of your feet. Your hands have these huge calluses. That's solid, thick skin that just simply was not there because my body is adapting to the environment. I'm in a rougher environment right now. And if I'm in slavery, I'm like, okay, we got to eat slave food, the cheap food. So it's like we're eating collard greens and sweet potato pies and chitlins, and we eating peanuts and cashews and things of that nature there, black eyed peas, lima beans. It's like those things were things that the slaves adapted to. And of course, our ancestors, they adapt to everything. So they perfect cooking it and made the soul food absolutely delicious. But that macaroni and cheese and all that sugar and butter and lard and pork and beer and liquor and tobacco and all that stuff, it start having an adverse effect on our people. Now, I mean, we start getting diabetes. We start, people had to get their feet cut off. Now, I mean, people had to start taking and getting strapped up with insulin pumps. Now, I mean, we start getting migraine headaches, start having strokes and heart attacks and cancers. Now, when I say cancers, I don't mean cancer in a spooky way. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us in How to Live that fasting and eating to live can cure 99.99% of our problems, but it's not going to cure cancer. It's like scientifically, you got to understand every human being has multiple cancers. You had them before you was physically born. While you was in your mother's womb, you had cancer. Your mother had cancer. Your grandmother, your great grandmother. It's like you're living in a world of distortion, a world of pollution. Now, I mean, the sun is a myth that blacks don't get skin cancer because of the melanin of our skin. There's a lot of pseudo stuff out there, but it's like, no, everyone on the planet Earth has cancer. We live in a polluted environment. A volcano erupts, that's going to have an effect on our planet. I mean, when that sun hits the Earth's atmosphere, it's going to have an effect on our being. The real issue is the majority of these cancers are benign. They're not harmful. Now, I mean, it's only when they become malignant or they become uncontrollable and they're mutating at a fast rate. Now it's like, oh man, we got type stage 4 cancer. Now you got a serious problem on your hands. So the thing is, we want to try to not just deal with the treatment, but we also want to deal with prevention. Now, I mean, so you want to take and use common sense in whatever it is that you're going to eat. You want to eat to live or die. You're going to eat to live or die, plain and simple. But don't delude yourself into thinking that because you're a vegan and you're drinking potions and taking herbs and supplements, that this some kind of way is going to give you a magic pill. I mean, it's like, no, you'll see people eating that still overweight. You'll see people eating that still dying young. Know what I mean? So it's a balance that you want. You got to look at your personal self, your personal habits, your personal addictions. Know what I mean? And you got to analyze like, okay, what do I need to do? Know what I mean? Some people need to work on that core training. Like, don't focus on your diet. You need to focus on exercising some more. Do some more sit-ups. You need more sit-ups. You need to do your cardio. You need to start walking after you eat. Start jogging. Start running. Know what I mean? Go lift some weights, whatever. To get some sleep. You're not hydrated enough. You're not drinking enough water. You drink too many sodas. Know what I mean? That's one of the things. I remember my beloved grandmother every single night, she would have either a frozen ginger ale or a frozen Pepsi. That was her little comfort food. That was her chill drink right there. She didn't drink alcohol, know what I mean, but she loved her soda. Know what I mean? And I used to drink I started loving Kool-Aid and soda. I grew up with all that kind of stuff. Know what I mean? And our side of the family, genetically, we all had perfect teeth. All my cousins, sisters, aunts, we all had good teeth. But it's like, I worked in two candy stores growing up at the age of 14. So I had access to all I ain't talking about candy just in your regular store. I mean, I used to work for Johnny Bird in down Broad Knowledge. I used to work at the candy store at 12th and Nedrew on 13th and Parkside. And so he used to take me down to the wholesaler. So when we go down to wholesaler, it's like, man, 1,000 cookies for $4. So it's like I'm coming home with cases of candy. I ain't getting a pack of gum. I got cases. I go to school in my book bag. The girls love me to death. I got all the now laters, Bubs, Daddies, you name it. You want some Snickers? I got all that. Now I mean, so but the thing is like eating that crap every single day. I go to my dentist. He be like, yo, you got a cavity over here. I mean, I have to take and clean that out, fill it up. You know what I mean? And it's like, when I start getting conscious, and now I'm hearing Master Muhammad teachers, Master Muhammad explaining like, yo, the so-called Negro consumes over 150 pounds of sugar every year. I'm like 150 pounds? I didn't even weigh 150 pounds. That's a lot of sugar that we're eating. You know what I mean? And in the 1930s, they kept making new sugars, artificial sugars, artificial sweeteners. It's like I seen they mixing honey with other bugs now. They got raw sugar, granulated sugar. They granulating the sugar through the bone marrow of the pig. I mean, they taking and be like, yo, America's like don't have sugar cane growing around like that. They, before they was able to get a lot of sugar from Cuba, but before all that stuff, the CIA thing, now they getting beet sugar. Now I mean, so a lot of this sugar, it's like the human body, the messenger said, is made of 3 elements. We came out this earth, we go right back in this earth. You're not going to float in the sky. You're not going to go through the earth and go burn in the hot magma or hot lava underneath the ground with some spooky devil. No, but on the earth, you got to understand genetically, our flesh is vegetation. Our blood is water. Our bones are stone. The same calcium in that rock is in you. The same iron that's in that rock is in your blood. Now I mean, so the crystals that's in the earth is in us, but it's in such minute form. It's not like people think. It's no big crystal inside your brain in the form of a pineal gland and all that kind of stuff like that. We're born with a 7.5 ounce brain with 14 billion brain cells or neurons generating a power equal to 1/70,000th of a volt of electricity. Master Muhammad said our thoughts travel 24 billion miles per second, but that brain will dissolve and turn right back to water. You know what I mean? And if we think we're going to play around with Mother Nature and Father God, we're going to cause an imbalance to the temple. We're going to cause an imbalance to the church. We're going to cause an imbalance to the masjid or the mosque. I'm not talking about some organized religious building. I'm saying your body is the temple of God. It is the church. It is the synagogue. It is the masjid or the mosque. Your body is the university. You have to treat it as such. You have to take care yourself. You have to work on yourself. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people look at, some people say that they vegetarians and they be like, all they eat is fish. It's like, it's not a sin to eat meat. I mean, the message is like, you could, it's not a sin to eat beef or lamb and chicken and fish. He said it's a sin to eat pork. You shouldn't eat the flesh of the swine. The Arabic word for swine in the Holy Quran is kainza. Kain means I see and zer means foul. It's a very foul animal. See, God created animals, but these animals are living in an imbalanced world. See, we look at animals and look at, the swine. It's like, no, it's nature always have creatures that are the trash men. Like we flush out poop down the toilet. We put our garbage out. We recycle, and the trash men come. The recycle truck come. You know what I mean? And nature is like that. Now I mean, it's like we got the swine and the wild boars and pigs, and they eat up the garbage on the surface of the earth. But when you jump in the ocean, when a shark kills a tuna and a piece of that tuna floats down inside the ocean and rots, the little fish gonna come eat on that. The scavengers gonna come. The shrimp, the crabs, the lobsters, they eat the filth that's inside the ocean. if a human being or a horse or a pig physically died off, a deer died of natural causes in the woods, God has birds like crows and ravens and vultures that come eat that garbage. So their systems are literally designed to eat filth. But you as a human being was not designed to go eat the flesh of the garbage animals. You don't supposed to eat the shrimp. You don't supposed to eat the crabs. You don't supposed to eat the lobsters. You don't supposed to eat the pigs and the hogs. You don't supposed to eat the vultures. I mean, you don't supposed to eat the crows you see flying. You be like, oh, I'm eat chicken, so I might as well eat this crow. I might as well eat this vulture. It's like, no, the vulture is eating dead magnets and rotten meat and mold and funguses and viruses all over the place. Now I mean, and then you want to come eat that and then wonder why you have cancers or why you're passing this compromised DNA down through your sons and daughters into the future. So you want to be mindful that even if it's a fish, and Hadi Talib the Lamb told us this, he said, not even fish is good for us to eat due to that animal-like instincts in the water. Look at it. It's a fish. I mean, my grandfather used to take me fishing with him. Know what I mean? And, we catch trout or whatever. And when we get the fish is hopping around. You know what I mean? I see the eyes and I'm like, yo, the hook caught in his mouth, poor fish. But this fish has a husband or a wife. They have children. They have a brother and a sister. They have a family. You know what I mean? And, we have to sacrifice this fish so that we can eat. And we didn't eat it because we was, desperate for food. It's just we like fish. I like fish and chips. You know what I mean? But we literally would, take and scale it. Take the skin off and cut the head off. You know what I mean? Cut the tail out, cut it open. I physically would pull his bones out. You know what I mean? Cut his little heart and liver and stuff. I'll scrape all that out. You know what I mean? Rinse it off. And, my grandmother put some flour on that thing and fry it and bake it or what have you. And I'll put some hot sauce on it and eat it. You know what I mean? And it's not a sin to do that, though that's not a natural thing for us as human beings to do. That's not a righteous way of living. You know what I mean? But we live in a world that is not balanced. So the Holy Quran says this. The Holy Quran says corruption has appeared on the land and the sea on account of what mankind's or humanity's hands have wrought. So the Quran says that the land and the sea is poison. You see? Meaning what? Meaning that the air we breathe is poison. The Savior told us that we breathe 3 cubic feet of air every hour. And the devil contaminates 3 cubic feet of air every hour. What does that mean? That means every time you breathe in, you're breathing in poison. The water is poison. The spring water is poison. The fruit is poison. The vegetables are poison. The soil is poison. The oceans, lakes, rivers, and streams are poison. We live in a world of sin. Not a spooky sin, not sin in the sense of organized religion. When I speak of sin, I'm speaking of sin in a holistic, natural, universal way. See, we can change this with the law of vibration. See, our universe is comprised of atoms. Those atoms build up molecules and, cells and organs and human bodies and animals and trees and what have you. Okay? But when you study the nature of reality, and the Holy Quran says in chapter 22, verse 6, Allahu ana al-haq, the God is nothing but reality. You'll see that these little balls of life, these atoms, are really made of 3 forces. Scientists consider it protons and neutrons and electrons. Now, the electron cloud really don't exist, just like the devil really don't exist. See, people look at God and the devil as two separate beings, but it's all one. I mean, like we see black, brown, yellow, red, and white people on the planet. Everybody came out of the black man and woman. The black man and woman produces 4 shades of black, 4 shades of brown, 4 shades of yellow, 4 shades of red. They can produce an albino baby, and Asian can produce a Caucasian. But humanity has a singularity. We all come from the same original people. That's not your Adam and Eve in the spooky sense of in the Bible where, God gonna take the rib out of the man and all this other stuff. It's like, no, from the original man's DNA, humanity sprang forth. It wasn't no aliens floating down from another planet enslaving humanity, and no, the gods, the gods, the powerful ones, were nothing but other intelligent, powerful, rich human beings. And it's like this morning I went to turn the news on, and when I went to turn the news on, the remote wasn't working. So I'm like, it was working, but the signal was real weak. So I was like, let me change these batteries. So I changed the batteries, and the TV basically was telling me like, oh, you need to renew the subscription to this app. I like Gaia and the History Channel and my little nerd shows or whatever. So I said, oh, let me order this now. So I was like, boom, and it had an old credit card number on the thing. So I just took the remote and used the remote, and I was able to switch that card to another card. And as I'm putting a new credit card in there, it's dawning on me like, wow, imagine my grandmother being alive today seeing this for the first time. She'd be like, what is you, a wizard, a warlock, a witch? What you got in your hand? I mean, she was a Christian woman. So like to her, that would be magic or witchcraft, because she don't understand Bluetooth and Wi-Fi signals and all that kind of stuff. Know what I mean? She wouldn't understand a smartphone and technology. Know what I mean? And imagine going back, say, 100 to 1,000 or 5,000 years ago, and, bringing a person from back then to this modern world. They would look at us and be like, y'all don't realize y'all are the gods and goddesses? Y'all, stuff that we take for granted, like pushing a button and turning a light on, plugging a plug into the wall and sending an electrical current into this iron box, and the refrigerator is coming cold and freezing food in the freezer, and we're pushing buttons and flying in airplanes and rockets, landing on Mars and landing on the moon and going at the bottom of the ocean in submarines and pushing buttons and riding up in skyscrapers bigger than the Tower of Babel in a so-called elevator. Them trying to describe that or write about, they be like, yo, they got all these gods and goddesses. Most of them is pretty good. You got a couple of bad ones. I mean, they can point these things at you called guns and they can kill you. I mean, they can heat rocks up and they extract iron from the rocks, and they take burnt wood and take the ashes and mix carbon into the pig iron, and they make these sharp knives and swords that they kill each other with, switchblades. It's crazy the way these gods are and these goddesses. I seen one goddess, she took and pushed a little button that was like on the TV, except this remote didn't turn the TV on and off. Her remote started the car up. It unlocked her doors. To us, this is common knowledge. But to a person that is not conscious of this level of humanity's reality would be like, y'all are gods and goddesses. Likewise, if we, and I don't think I'll be around, but if we were to look at humanity 1,000 years, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, 5,000 years from now, I know a lot of people say, we're not going to be Earth going to destroy this, humanity's going to destroy itself. I seriously doubt it. I don't believe that we're going to destroy the world or humanity or none of that kind of stuff. We're going to be around a long time. Now, I mean, one day that sun is going to burn out. The Messenger speaks about that in Al Sayers Rab in 1974. He explained that a whole new universe is why? Because the ancestors gave us the Kabbalah and the 7 universal laws. It's like one of them is change is a constant. I mean, like nothing rests. It's the law of vibration. It's like that sun is 93 million miles away, 150 million kilometers. Now, I mean, the surface is 14,072 degrees hot. Since light travels 186,000 miles per second, it takes exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds or 8.3 seconds or exactly 500 seconds for that sun to activate the melanin in the 7 layers of your skin. Islam, real Islam, natural Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. This is how the gods and goddesses think. We think with analytical brains. We don't think in a realm of spookism. We don't believe in ghosts and goblins and, the reason why people suffering from diseases because some magical sky god put a curse on them or a hex or, no. Everything has the law of causation. There are causes and effects. There are actions and reactions. Now, I mean, if I smoke dust, if I'm drinking my Henny, if I'm running the streets, if I'm smoking weed and I'm eating cheesesteaks and pizzas and fried chicken and I'm not getting no sleep and I'm drinking all these 40s and I think my name is Ace Money and I'm running around North Philly like a chicken with my head cut off, I'm self-destroying. I'm self-destructing. It's like, of course I'm going to have a dis-ease. I mean, it's because I'm thinking wrong. I'm eating the wrong mental food. I'm eating the wrong physical food. And the atoms in my body, the atoms that comprise my DNA and my RNA, the messenger genes, it's made of 3 forces: protons, neutrons, and electrons. Meaning what? We can be positive, neutral or mediocre or mortal, or we can be negative. We can be God, we can be man or woman, or we can be devils. And the black devils is worse than the white devils. But ain't no devils under the ground. All the devils we met is right here on the face of the planet Earth. So, in this science of food of the gods, the Bible teaches us that humans or man will begin to eat angels' food. The angels ain't talking about some spooky angels from the Anunnaki from another planet, family. It's like so much spooky stuff. I'm like, no. We got to get rid of this mystery God concept. We got to, all the unicorns and Santa Clauses and Easter bunnies and Sandmen, and if you break the mirror, you got 7 years bad luck. If you spill a salt, I remember I was in the house and my mom was sweeping the kitchen, and I walked by, and she swept my foot, and she was like, "Boy, what you do? You gotta do it." I'm like, "What?" Some superstitious like yo, mom. It's like, it's not that serious. But people, she's from down south. She grew up in the south and she moved up north to this big city. So people believe what was passed down to them. And until we get new information, new data, now I mean, it's like we can't be faulted for not knowing. I mean, the difference is once you know, those that know better has to do better. So our job is to share with you a better way of eating. Now, I mean, of course, in America, we get too much protein. Now, I mean, the message said it's not a sin to eat meat, but if you really want to eat to live and not to die in this day and time, you want to analyze your diet. Now, I mean, in my personal experience, and I don't want you thinking just because I did something, you should do it. I mean, you could do stuff better than me and worse than me. So you got to look at your own life and make that decision within your own self, but make a decision based on the best information you have, the best logic, the best information, the best facts, not the fantasy, not the fiction, not the half truths and the whole lies mixed all up in tricknology, not a mixture of tricks with real knowledge, but use common sense and do the research on it, analyze it. Know what I mean? And if you find it to be true, lay claim to it. That's what the messenger taught us. He said, if you go down south and you see an old racist white man and he's chewing tobacco and he spits some tobacco on the ground and he says something that's true, even though you may not like this dude, you should bear witness to that truth. Because truth ain't personal, family. Sometimes Democrats going to get it right. Sometimes Democrats going to get it wrong. Sometimes independents going to get it right. Sometimes independents going to get it wrong. Sometimes Republicans going to get it right, and sometimes Republicans going to get it wrong. So you have to understand that it's not a cookie cutter thing. Get that spooky stuff, that cut and dry, everything in the universe is black and white. No, it's protons. There are neutrons and there are electrons. There are gods, there are mortals, and there are devils. They're not in the sky. They're not under the ground. They're right here on earth. It's a reason. They be like, well, why did the lightning strike this house and kill the family? They was good people. The reason the house got struck by the lightning because houses get struck by lightning. I mean, we got an electromagnetic field. Our lessons teach us what makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. Answer: the Earth's approximately covered underwater, approximately 3/4 of the surface. The sun and moon has. So I could go to the whole science of life on anything. It don't make a difference. But the point is, there are causes and effects. Now, I mean, if you have lightning rods, if you made a house built out of rubber, you may have a better chance of not getting your house struck down by a lightning bolt. I mean, but I remember I was coming from somewhere. In fact, I was coming from the old GMOs. GMOs today is now known as KFC or Kentucky Fried Chicken. I had got me some of that spicy, extra crunchy Geno's chicken. I got a little chicken meal, 2-piece, whatever. White roll made of garbage, some greasy French fries. I love that crap back then. So I'm walking and it start raining. So I'm like, dang, it's pouring out rain. So I'm running down the street. I got the food with me. I'm not worried about getting wet. I'm probably 15, so rain didn't bother me. We played sports in the rain, whatever. But I don't want to get my food all wet, so I'm covering the food running. So my godmother, Miss Pendleton house was right there on the corner. So I go, let me run over Miss Pendleton house. So I just, she's like family. You know what I mean? Her son, Stephen, and Tracy Wesley and all of them, they like my brothers and sisters. They family. So I don't have to ring the bell or not. So I just come in, boom. So I come in, whew. They had, they like a real sincere Christian family, like go to church, like Miss Pendleton go to church like 2-3 times a week. She had the organ or piano in the little day room, so they sitting on the thing. Everybody sitting in the chairs on couches, and my eyes really got to adjust. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's dark in here. Turn the lights on. So I hit the joint. Don't turn that light off. So I hurry up, turn the light on, thinking whoa, somebody in the basement fixing the electric. What's going on? It's no, it's raining outside. You turn that light on, we might get struck by lightning. You shouldn't have been out there running in the rain. You could have got struck by lightning. I'm like, yo. It's listen, one thing about this mystery God, I know I'm a sinner. If God want to kill me, I'm pretty sure this mystery God can strike me whether I'm in the house, whether I got the lights off. If he going to strike, but one thing I don't think is going to happen is that this mystery God is going to strike Miss Pendleton and her family. Y'all good. Y'all, it's it might strike me, but nah. I mean, but I wasn't afraid of natural phenomena. I wasn't afraid of the rain and all that kind of stuff. But some people are. but it's really a lack of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We're born into beliefs and we grow in faith. Know what I mean? But superstition and things of that nature there, gets passed down and shared, not unintentionally. That's just human social working. That's just human nature. You know what I mean? It's like, of course, when we see things we don't understand, imagine Native American Indians or Africans or the people of Sumer, Babylon, modern day Iraq, Persia, or modern day Iranians, and the Indians and people in China, Japan, whatever. Imagine them 100, 1,000, 5,000 years ago seeing 17 meteorites crashing down on the earth, averaging 10 grams each. Now, I mean, like, something just come from outer space and you see it just come down and blow up a hut. I mean, it's like every day something falls out the sky. Sometimes it'll just go right through a person's roof. Boom! It'll hit a person's car. Boom! I mean, it'll kill a person. Know what I mean? And we didn't have the Weather Channel and meteorologists. People didn't study astronomy. We was more into astrology. The first law of learning is observation. So, we had a mixture of religious leaders as scientists. I mean, much as it is today. So not understanding the cause to this effect, we may think like, wow, the gods must be angry. It must be a Thor god up there sending bolts of lightning down, or it must be a god on the moon, or it must be some aliens from another planet. You see these things flying across. In the daytime, I seen one and it had smoke coming all out of it and it blew up the whole village. I mean, and they built a shrine around that hole. And, and it's like, if you don't understand the cause, that don't mean that it's something spooky. It's just that as human beings, we just don't know everything. I mean, if we compare what we know to what we don't know, we'll realize we don't know nothing. I mean, but that shouldn't throw us in a spooky realm where it was like just because we don't understand phenomena. Like if Chris Columbus come over here and he understand it's going to be a solar eclipse, and the Aboriginal Black Indians don't, and they like, yo, he's saying he's going to get rid of the sun if we don't give him this gold. I mean, he can use his knowledge in a wicked way. He can attach a trick to his knowledge and have them think that he's going to block out the sun. And when they see a full eclipse, they be bowing down, praying, like, bring back the sun. We're sorry. We'll do whatever you want us to do. And it's like they looking at him as a god, not that he's a mystery god, but when they write about him in their language, they're going to write about him in the context of he wore these strange clothes and he had a funny smell and he had these ships that flew on the waters and things of that nature there, because they be like, we had canoes. Like, he had some high tech stuff. He had these fire sticks that shoot these round bullets that come out, I mean, and they could knock a man down from 50 feet away. I mean, they be like, we never seen no tech. Now, that's like somebody using a laser or something, like Star Trek or the Jetsons. It'd be an occurrence to us. Now, I mean, and when it comes to how to eat to live, we got a world where it's like, yo, we happen to live in a world where imperialism is the thing. Now, under imperialism, and when I say imperialism, I'm saying some systems say they're capitalist, socialist, communist. It don't make a difference. They all hustlers. They all about the money, all right? So at the end of the day, if you're in a socialist system, you got the haves and the have-nots. If you're in a communist system, you got the haves and the have-nots. You think everybody lived like President Putin? I remember I was watching something on TV and they went over Nancy's house and she had a $36,000 refrigerator. I was like, wow. In the hood, I didn't even know they made $36,000 refrigerators. No hate to her. My thing is, she probably worked. I know she's a highly intelligent, educated woman. She probably sacrificed a lot and put herself in a position and utilized this capitalist system, and she got money. Everything's relative. To her, she like a $36,000 refrigerator for me is like a $1,000 refrigerator to you. I mean, it's like, that's not an expensive refrigerator for her. So I'm not, faulting people that are blessed with success and wealth. Now, I mean, you're supposed to strive to do the best you can under any circumstance. That's just human nature. But I'm talking about the imbalance. When you live and are born in that world of imbalance, it can make you think that which is unnatural is natural. You see? We look at it like, oh, we're human beings. You see, we're not like the lion and the wild animals. We're not designed to kill and eat wild. But look at your Bible carefully. What did the prophet Isaiah teach? He said that it's going to come a time when, the lion is going to lay down with the lamb. I mean, he's like the little baby could put their hand on a wasp and won't get stung. The snake won't even bite you. The rattlesnake won't even bite you. A viper won't even sting you. Know what I mean? But it's a thing where if human beings, for thousands of millions and billions of years, depending on your calculations, if human beings are creating an imbalance on the planet Earth, they're literally like, okay, we're going to cut down these natural trees. We're going to make these water wells. We're going to build roads on top of all these insects and animals' habitats. I mean, we're going to build these city-states and nations all over the planet Earth. We're going to take this whole mountain and dig out this whole joint to get the diamonds and the gold and the silver and the copper out of it. And we're going to pollute all these rivers and kill all these animals over here and set off this huge global imbalance. We're going to pollute the air, pollute the soil, pollute the waters, kill the animals. We're going to start slaughtering. We're going to be wearing their skin as clothing. We're going to hang their heads up in our homes as decorations. I mean, we're going to kill a deer and hang the deer. We're going to kill a moose, and we're going to catch the biggest shark and cut his jaw out and hang that shark jaw up inside the office as a trophy. Now, I mean, of course, nature is like the first law of nature is self-preservation. The animals are going to start adapting. They're going to start communicating like, yo, by nature, animals be like, we don't kill each other. What? If when they get kidnapped, when the animals got kidnapped, and they got kidnapped, now, I mean, I know a lot of y'all be like, oh, I love my pet. That's not your pet. That's your slave. Sad to say, he's so or she's so domesticated. You graft these dogs. You put the birds in cages. You put fish in tanks. You put dogs on leashes. You put the cats in the house. And these creatures that's supposed to live in that natural habitat with their people, you don't think there's anything wrong with that. You be like, oh, it's cool to just kill a lamb, and I like lamb chops. I mean, especially during Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. I kill them in the name of Allah. I mean, Jews like, I like lambs too. Well, we got it tied to our religion. I mean, we be like, Muslims, we don't eat the pork though. The Jews be like, well, we don't eat the pork either. Oh, why? Well, we only eat halal food. We Muslim. Oh, well, we only eat kosher food. We're Jews. It's the same thing. But the priests, the reverends, the imams, the wazirs, the ministers, the gurus, the sheikhs, the scholars, the experts, they realize, yo, we the 10%. in ancient Kemet, the high priest realized, yo, it's a lot of money could be made off this organized religious stuff because people believe the most insane things. You could literally tell them anything. And what do? They cash app you. What do? They buy your books of spookism. They'll buy your herbs and your T-shirts and come to your conferences, and you be able to advertise and be like, they ain't doing it for the money. Yeah, right. Capitalism and imperialism is real. So that fiat money, people still love it. I mean, I wouldn't care if you call it a credit card, Bitcoin, or whatever. People is like the song say, that's what people do for money. Now, I mean, it's like this country is at the end of the day a capitalist imperialist system. So we psychologically eat the wrong food. So you literally have people that are hungry in the United States of America. With all this wealth, you got people literally starving inside the United States of America. It's ridiculous. You have people that are homeless, sleeping in the streets. And, it's like they lay on vents, they sleep in the subways or whatever the case may be. It's an imbalance in the world. Now, I mean, and theologically, the scriptures may put it in a spiritual sense, but it's a scientific social fact. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not that money's evil, but our desire, our greed, our gluttony is killing us. Mentally, financially, spiritually, socially, politically, and nutritionally. I mean, so we want to be conscious that our universe is on the tip like, listen, whatever you humans want to do, y'all going to be able to do. Anything y'all put your mind to, y'all can do it. If y'all, they inventing some new super duper computers. I mean, so I'll give it like another 50 years. The next generation is going to live in a world that is going to be unimaginable to the world in which we live right now. I mean, like anything human beings put their mind to. The messenger told us, he said, the white man stood at the shore and he looked at the ocean and he wondered, what's on the other side of that? Now, I mean, he said there wasn't no mystery God that taught him how to get over there. It was a God that taught him mathematics. You see? Somebody's used, an ancient Kemet in Egypt, truth be told, if you look at, they had the pulley, the incline, the decline. I mean, they invented some real simple things like a gear, but that's the basis of machinery. Like if you could put a rope on that, I mean, you can pull stuff. You can do some mathematical things. It's not some aliens that came down and built the pyramids and all that kind of spooky stuff. It's like they literally found the metaneta or the hieroglyphs showing the Egyptians like, yo, our ancestors built this. I mean, like, contrary to popular belief, there were no Hebrew Jewish slaves building the pyramids in Kemet or Egypt under any of the pharaohs. I mean, not like the biblical Bible spooky stuff. Now, I mean, that stuff simply did not happen. Now, I mean, but what did happen historically was, some black folks were kidnapped from Africa and other places and brought over here and wind up on the islands in South America and Central America and North America. And before we were kidnapped, we already had black folks over here. We had the Olmec civilizations, black Indians, the black Dalits from India looked just like us. Some of them 3-4 times darker than us. We had the black Anu Eskimos in the North Pole and Alaska, and they've been over here for like 16,000 years, according to Master Fard Muhammad. So we look at the planet like, yo, we're world citizens. We're Asiatics. Asia is actually an ancient word. A lot of people like, oh, it came from the Greeks. No. They got 3,500-year-old Chinese silk screens talking about Asia. the ancient people Kemet be like, they was fighting those vile Asiatics. That's in the meta netter. I mean, so Asia just happened in 2024. We got 7 continents. We got Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Australia, and Europe. Master Muhammad said Asia is 16 million square miles. He said Africa is 12 million. Asia is the largest piece of land on the face of the planet Earth in 2024. Those of you that study the Suez Canal know that when Europe and America and them got together, they blew up the land that connected Africa and Asia. So once they blew it up in the 1800s, then Africa in the 1800s was considered the mother continent. It wasn't a continent in the 1700s. It wasn't a continent 500 years ago. It wasn't a continent 1,000 years ago, because our people migrated all over the planet Earth. Originally, all the 7 pieces of land was connected. You can look at it like a child can see it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It covers 196,940,000 square miles. Master Muhammad said it covers 57,255,000 square miles of land, 139,685,000 square miles of water. I mean, so I'm talking before his story. One thing about his story or history is not a science. History is just based on the information that the researcher was able to find. So if you take and look at the time frame and you be like, okay, well, they over here doing this, but these people over here in ancient Babylon, they doing some vicious stuff along the Tigris River. They had writing and math and metrics and temples and calculations and astronomy and money, and they was highly advanced. They was like New York or something. They was like Los Angeles or Miami or Philadelphia or Atlanta or something. You know what I mean? And we forget that we forgot. So we walk around with spiritual amnesia thinking that we're doing something new in this day and time because we got our little smartphones and things of that nature there. But it's like, no, humanity nations always rise and they fall. Now, I mean, the Greeks rose and did some fly stuff and the civilization fell apart. The Germans rose and fell. Rome rose and fell. India rose. African nations rose and fell. Indian nations rose. Chinese, I remember as a child when Chinese was poured in the mud. I mean, it's like they getting money now. I mean, it's like when Japan invented a transistor, they start eating. So things can happen where the human gods and goddesses, they take and reprogram their youth and they grow up and create a new world. Now, we can create a world of chaos. We can create racism, sexism, classism, and self-destruct. Or we can all simply let's build the world of peace, truth, freedom, justice, and equality. That don't mean we're going to come together and just sing Kumbaya and the Democrats, Republicans going to be hugging and blacks and whites just going to love each other like Dr. Martin Luther King said. When Dr. Martin Luther King was asking America for a slice of the American pie, don't forget the messenger, Elijah Muhammad, he was baking his own bean pies. He's like, man, I'm not trying to integrate with the oppressors and all that kind of stuff. He's like, no. I mean, it's like, it's not a thing of hatred. You don't have to hate nobody. It's a thing about knowing yourself, loving yourself, and respecting everybody and respecting everything. It's like, no, you don't just step on a worm. If I go outside and it's raining and I see on our driveway, it's like, damn, the worm's stuck. I take a little stick because my finger's too big. I don't want to hurt it, but I'll pick something up, pick the worm up, put it back inside, or her put it back inside the soil. Now, I mean, so like, but when I'm going, I'm like, okay, I said, no, I put this one over. It's like, whoa, it's a whole bunch of worms stuck out this dry. I can't help all y'all. But I made a difference to maybe 1 to 5 of those little worms. You just do your part. Now, I mean, it's like, I ain't got no bunch of money and none of that, but it's like, this homeless guy, he's white, but he looks like he really down on his finances right now. And it's like, I ain't got no bunch of money. I got like $42 in my pocket, some change. Like, something in my nature told me, F him. But then my nature kicked in, the common sense, like, what if that was me? I mean, so I'm like, all right, I need money to do this, that, and the other, but I can afford to give him a couple of dollars. I give him $10, $20. I get a girl $1. I get, you know what I mean, it's like just do your part. Just, you know what I mean, it's like just, you know, if I'm walking down the street and I see an elderly person, I'm gonna help them carry their bags. Now I mean, you know, women always telling my wife, like, oh, he's such a gentleman, this, that. He's like, I'm going to hold the door for him. My neighbors be like, I never let my wife get in the car without holding the door for her and then shutting the door, holding a chair. My mom raised me like that. I grew up with my mom and 3 sisters. She just taught me common sense respect. It's like, I didn't grow up thinking men were superior and women were inferior, and I definitely didn't think men were inferior, but I knew that, you know, you had to respect the mother of civilization. I had to defend my sisters. I love my sisters, right or wrong. I got my sisters. That's my sister. You know what I mean? So that's just the nature of life. It's like, it's not, when you look in the ocean, it is not hatred when the shark eats the tuna. It's not hatred when the whitefish say, we swim in schools. Now, I mean, they be like, yo, we got this black fish down here named Dr. Martin Luther King, and this blackfish saying, yo, God made us all marine creatures. We should all swim together in the same school. They like, we got a problem with that. I'm not sure if that's going to really work out too good, because there's exceptions in nature. There's like sometimes blackfish mate with whitefish. Some integration happens. I mean, you know, it's like there are ducks that are gay. I mean, so it's like, it's not a thing of finding fault and all this thing of like, you got to be like, well, my lifestyle, I want to live like this. I want to swim in the school over here. We're tuna. It's not that we're against goldfish. We just don't, for some reason, don't have the desire to swim with goldfish. I mean, the black crows just like, we don't want to hang out with the white seagulls. I mean, it's like the black ants don't march with those red ants. It's just something in their nature. They be like, yeah, the wolf and the fox are both canines, but the fox is like, yo, we travel in packs and we lone wolves. We don't want to hang out with no foxes. In fact, we might kill a fox if you try to come over here and get in our den. I mean, you know, and you'll find that all around the planet Earth. Just the white polar bear can't eat the food of the silver black gorilla, as Dr. Sebi wisely put it. You know, it's just human nature that we go to our little tribes and all that there. That's just something in our psychic. I mean, you know, so when it comes to our foods, we got to be careful, because it's like, yo, Americans eat different food than Africans. I mean, and even though the Africans, respecting our ancestors, you know, we may do with the soul food in this modern day and time. We got to be like, we got to get away from those black-eyed peas and lima beans. The Mexicans call them belly busters. Now, I mean, you know, they fed it to a Texas bull one time and killed it. It blew up. I mean, eating all them darn. I remember my mom used to make them lima beans, and I used to love lima beans and rice, so don't get me wrong. A lot of these poisons taste absolutely delicious. Know what I mean? But if you thinking about your health, you want to be like, yo, I'm getting fat. I'm getting a gut. Like, yo, I can't be eating butter beans and all that kind of black-eyed peas and kidney beans and them things. You could put them things in a pot, and you know, you could pour another half a gallon of water in there and stretch it, and it congeal right back up. Now, I mean, it's like you could take a slice of that white bread and just put a whole slice of white bread in your toilet and just leave it in there overnight, and come in there in the morning, you're going to be like, yo, the bread is twice the size. And you eating that stuff, it's going to buckle your stomach. It's going to swell up in your stomach. It's not just going to transform and vibrate the glucose and give you diabetes and too much sugar, but it literally will blow up in your stomach. So the messenger told us about bread. See, it's like, yo, you want to eat some bread, eat the stone ground wheat dark toast. You know what I mean? That way it's not going to buckle in your stomach. It's not going to swell up like that, meaning you need carbs. People look at it like carbs, this, that, and the other. No, we can't live without carbs. Our brains run off sugar. Our brain burns sugar up like a mug. It's like a rocket ship. I mean, so we need sugar, but we simply get too much sugar. We overdo it. We overdo it with protein. We overdo it with salt. We overdo it with everything. Most of us. Know what I mean? So obesity and diabetes is running amok in the wilderness of North America. Know what I mean? Another thing is, even if you're vegan, be one of the things I remember. I was at like a conference or whatever, and so they had some serious vegans there. Know what I mean? So they had took me to a vegan restaurant. So they was like, oh, you gotta try the chicken wings. I'm like, chicken wings? Oh, you ain't down? Oh man, they got the barbecue chicken wings. They got the barbecue steaks, and I thought this was a vegetarian restaurant. Oh no, it is. All the meats is made of vegetables. I'm like, meat's made of vegetables? It kicked right in. Nah, I'm good. I mean, see, I was a strict extreme vegan for like 10 years. I got so detoxed as a vegan, it almost physically killed me. It's two things you need to understand about a vegetarian or a vegan lifestyle that you want to be by. And I'm pro vegetarian. I consider that the best way of eating. I don't eat pure vegan no more. You know what I mean? But I don't eat like a lot of red meats and none of that kind of stuff. If I eat some red meat, it'd be probably like maybe once a year or something. I mean, I don't eat it, but I'll eat like some lean chicken. I don't eat dark meat. I eat like lean chicken without the skin, or some salmon, some fish or something like that, some whiting or something like that there. You know what I mean? And I really do that because I'm such a hard worker. I do a lot of physical manual type stuff around the house. And when I eat all my veggie stuff, either I'm going to have to keep eating and it'll disrupt my system. So I found a balance for me. Like I said, I'll be 59 years old tomorrow. I lift my weights. I could do my crunchies, my push-ups. I still could do gym. I could run and do a handspring semi and flip over your head at the age of 58. I mean, so it's a balancing out thing. You want to just what works for you. Know what I mean? But one of the things you got to be careful on is these artificial meats. It's like my thing is like when I was in my vegan bag, I didn't want artificial meats. I didn't like. I used to see people get bean burgers, and I'm like, yo, what is that? It's like, oh, this is a bean burger. It's made out of kidney beans and tofu, and nah. Listen, I'm not doing the vegan thing with the white macaroni, the white rice, the white bread. Just because there's no meat in there don't mean that it's good for you. I mean, it's like you eating this cooked. That stuff is pure sugar in your body. That'll kill you. I mean, so my thing to the vegetarian and vegan community is like twofold. One, ain't nothing wrong with being a vegan or a vegetarian, but just eat your fruits and vegetables, your whole grains or whatever. I mean, you don't need fake steak and fake chicken and things of that nature there. It's like, nah, it's like, man, them solids and the quinoa and couscous, that stuff is delicious. I mean, I love my navy bean soups and all that kind of, my avocados, my salads. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, it's a lot of good food you can eat. You know what I mean, I love my fruits and cantaloupes and broccoli and raw garlic and onions and stuff like that. Stuff, that stuff balances. I feel my best and look my best when I'm eating right. I mean, I can tell when I'm eating too much junk, and I'll be like, yo, let me get myself. I'm tripping right now. Let me get back my let me get that balance back. Know what I mean? And contrary to all the spooky pseudoscience stuff, if you're just a strict vegan and all that, you got to be real conscious of your B12. Like, it's a silver metal that the central nervous system needs to properly operate. Now, I mean, like, my brain is like a computer. Like, I in my head, I could quote the Quran stuff, the Bible, scriptures, lessons, all kind of stuff. Now, I mean, because my brain is working properly. Now, I mean, it's like, don't listen to the spooky stuff like you only use 5% of your brain, 8% of your brain, and this. It's like, come on, the spooky stuff. Ain't no junk DNA in your body. Everything in Allah's creation serves a purpose. Your body is 1,000% interconnected with every atom in the universe, covering 238 quintillion, 640 quadrillion miles. Every neuron in your brain operates. Now, you might have had a stroke, you might have had a lobotomy, you might have got shot in the head, whatever. There are things that can make parts of your brain not work, but by nature, our brains completely work. Now, the quantity and the quality may be different. There's 100-watt light bulbs, and there's 60-watt light bulbs, and there's 25-watt light bulbs in the refrigerator. So we're not going to all have the same knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The Quran says there's degrees with Allah. Now, I mean, so don't look at yourself as being insignificant. Now, I mean, but one of the things that you want to be mindful of is like that B12. If they may artificially process it and put it in cereals, what have you. But in How to Eat to Live, the messenger told us, he said he believes in a balanced diet, and he specifically mentioned vitamins. Like, it's not a sin to take vitamins because the world is so corrupt. In antiquity, you might have been able to just eat some natural vegetables or produce from the earth and get all the B12 you need. Now, I mean, there's people that don't really suffer B12 deficiency, like over in Iran. I mean, in Iran, why do they have such good B12 in their bodies? Because they got a lot of animal feces in their soil. It's a lot of camels over there. Now, I mean, meaning that B12 comes from bacteria from animals. Now, I mean, like people look at the cow and it's like, unlike the pig, the cow is like, yo, I eat grass. The cow's a vegetarian and he's stronger than a mug. I mean, and we eat the cow and we get the complicated proteins inside our body. So we got to be careful how we do all this stuff. You got to try to balance it all out. But when I was like I would say like from the age of like 20 to 30, I was on some strict vegan. As a member of the Nation of Islam, I was a minister. I ate 1 meal a day, vicious exercises, all that kind of stuff. And I got so detoxed that, long story short, I took a banana, called myself eating a banana. I peeled the banana, bit the banana. When I bit the banana, my mouth swelled up and my throat swelled up. And I literally could not breathe. Now, the good thing was I was so young and my blood had so much oxygen already in it, because our training, we didn't just physically do FOI training, which was worse than Navy SEALs training. We did the real stuff, but we used to literally do breathing exercises, proper breathing. I mean, so I was used to being with a partner where I breathe in, hold my breath. He's standing there looking at his stopwatch, this digital watch, and calculating how long I'll hold my breath. And he'd be like, out. And I blow it out. In. And I got to hold it. Out. And he would write in his notes how long I was able to hold my breath for that week after our class. And I would write how long he held his breath. And we would measure, and you'll see over 6 months, a year, your lung capacity. I mean, it was just good training for the body, if you will, and as for a soldier. Now, I mean, and the thing is that I couldn't breathe, but I was able to get to the hospital, and when they see me, they like, oh man, he's having an allergic reaction. So they run. This first time it happened to me. So they run and give me a needle in my arm, shoot me up with like Benadryl or something. Boom. Nothing happened. So they're like, oh my God, nothing happened. So the nurse runs and get this specialist. So the Indian doctor run in there. She's like, oh my God, get me so. So I'm looking at it. She get this giant needle. I'm like, she great through with that. She like, yo, she stabs me in my thigh with that joint. And as soon as she plunged that fluid in my thigh, I could physically feel the swelling go down in like 1 minute, just like, and I was able to breathe. And she was like, yo, you know what I mean? So they was like, oh, check him out. Now I mean, he might have brain injuries. I'm like, nah, I'm good. We train like it's like Navy SEALs, whatever. I'm good. I would know if I'm, you know what I mean? So she's like, what happened? I mean, at the time I didn't know. So I'm like, I don't know. My mouth I couldn't breathe. My throat stuff swelled up. And she started asking me questions doing deductive reasoning. And then she traced it back. She's like, what did you eat? I was like, well, I didn't even eat. Now all I did was ate a banana. She said, a banana? Where did it come from? I was like, I don't know. It didn't even dawn on me about a banana. It's like, I don't know. She said, no, that's a common thing you got to keep in mind. Bananas don't grow in the United States. They come from other countries. I mean, it was banana wars and all that kind of stuff. It's like big money. It's all kind of man-made grafted bananas, and they spray it with super pesticides to stop the funguses from killing the bananas, and they ship them over here in green wrappings, ultraviolet lights to give it long shelf life. And if you touch that banana and don't wash the banana in your hands like you washing dishes, that concentrated pesticide that's on that skin is on your hand. And then you break a piece of that fruit off and you eat it, you're taking in concentrated doses of toxins. It will physically kill you. Like, instead of, you'd be better off eating a McDonald's salad with grilled chicken in it than eating one strawberry or blueberry with these pesticides on it. Now, I mean, so that's when it dawned on me, and it happened one other time, like a few years later, but it wasn't as bad. But at that time, the dermatologists and all of them, when they told me, they was like, listen, man, you can't do, like my wife would tell you, they rushed me to the hospital, and the doctor took my blood, and he was like, yo, your blood, I haven't seen this since I was overseas at war in like a third world country. He's like, your blood is eating itself. And I was like, what you mean? He's like, it's like you're starving. Like your body is eating itself. When the last time you ate? I was like, oh, I was fasting. I ain't eat nothing in 3 days. He said, 3 days? Was you drinking smoothies or something? Nah, when I fast, the message teaches us how to live. Fasting, if you don't eat or drink anything for 24 hours, that's not fasting. Ramadan is not fasting. Ramadan is like the month of July. Ramadan just means purification or excessive burning. Has nothing to do with fasting. Fasting is Sawmi. Sawmi or fasting is when you don't eat or drink anything for 2 or more days. We fast for 2 days, 30 days. Moses fast 40 days. Go as long as you can go without hurting yourself, but you definitely want to use gradualism when you are fasting or practicing Sawmi. Now, I mean, so he told me, he said, listen, your blood, I think he called them ketones or something. I don't know the scientific terms he used, but he was like, your body is literally eating itself. Like, yo, you can't be this deep into this vegetarian thing because it can hurt you. Not in this world. Your body needs some balance. He's like, listen, I need you to start putting in your diet some baked lean salmon, some baked chicken, I mean, he was like, with the skin. I don't eat skin and all that stuff though, but he wanted me to eat the skin and fat and all that kind. He said you got to get your body more, because you're like the boy in the bubble. It's like your system is too clean for this dirty planet. Like it's like if your system is, this is why they vaccinate soldiers when they go overseas. They like, yo, if you don't get a little of this poison in you, it could kill you. You know what I mean? Like I remember when we pulled up at the gas station and somebody was pumping gas. The smell of the gas almost killed me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, y'all don't smell that? And to them, it was nothing. But my system was so clean at the time, it literally was like poisoning me. You know what I mean? Like I could, like, I got this thing, like I could tell when my brain is being affected. It's like if we was in the car one day and I forgot my phone. I jump out the car, left the car running. Now, we're on the driveway, so the exhaust is pumping into the garage. I just run in the crib real quick, run upstairs, grab my phone, run back down. But when I came in that garage, it was like I was in a gas chamber. Know what I mean? So you got to be mindful. Everything's like, if we had a pet in there, like a pet dog or something, we probably killed the poor little animal. Know what I mean? So you want to be mindful that, you want to know your body. You want to understand what's good for you. Sometimes you got a lot of people, they eat so much toxic food, they need to be vegan for 10 years. I mean, like, yo, don't eat any of the poison. No, leave that meat alone. Leave the bread, the chips, them cookies, them sodas, the beer, the liquor, all that alone. Get you some sleep, drink you some water, bring some more water, put the water next to the bed while you sleeping, wake up, drink some more water, urinate, and get your urine sugar and acid free. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be yellow, it should be clear. You should be urinating water. I mean, so all that is, a balancing out thing that we have to do, because you got E. coli, you got pig farms over here that's polluting everything downstream, and this stuff is going into the soil. And the Master Muhammad told us, he said the pig is grafted from the rat, cat, and the dog. People don't understand trichinosis, or the trichina worm, is called the trichina. Why is it called the trichina? Tri means what? Like the tri-state. Tri means three. China means orient or east. It's 3 easterly worms in this swine. I'm going to give you the short version. In nature, you have fleas and you have mice or rats, okay? Now, when these mice or rats get infected with these fleas, you can have a cat that come eat this rat. Now, when the cat eats the rat that got the fleas on it, I mean, now the cat has the DNA of this rat inside the body of this cat. And then the dog comes in. I ain't talking these pets. I'm talking in nature. In nature, dogs know that they're dogs, and cats know they're cats, and rats know they're rats. Cats don't try to integrate with the rats, and the dogs don't be like, let's go sing Kumbaya with the cats. The dogs are like, they cats, we dogs. The cats be like, we cats, they rats. Okay, whatever. The way the world is right now, we're in a thing where the first law of nature is survival of the fittest, and everybody trying to make it happen. That's just the reality of it. But the thing is, when the dog eat it, now you got 3 worms that's being fused. You got roundworms, hookworms, and tapeworms. This roundworm, hookworm, and tapeworm is now fused as a trichina worm. You could literally walk in the grass barefoot, and them worms will go inside the pores of your feet. And them worms will multiply in your bloodstream and work their way up to your brain. And you'll look at a picture, your eyes will be yellow, your hair, your blood will be so dark, it'll literally pollute your temple or your body. So the Bible told us, and the flesh of the swine, though it be unclean to you, of that flesh ye shall not eat. And of that carcass, you should not even touch it. Don't even touch it. I mean, it serves a purpose. It's an intelligent animal. Now, I mean, in this day and time, they literally are able to groom certain swine and pigs and hogs to carry human organs, and actions are judged by intentions. The message said actions are judged by intentions. Actions may appear wrong, but motives bring rewards. So it's a thing like if a pig has a heart that can work and save someone's daughter or someone's mother, who am I to? I'd be like, you make that judgment call. I mean, you know, it's like some people don't want to live that bad. Some people do. That's your right. That's your life. I mean, so you use your common sense. I'm not going to be like what I would do or won't do. It's like, you know, it depends on circumstances, but it's like, you know, some people like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. It's a lot of crazy stuff we do that we don't supposed to do. But the planet is what it is right now. But we can make the world a better place to live in. We got to be conscious of these oils. Like, it's all this artificial counterfeit olive oil, cold press. Now, I mean, you know, it's you got the corn oil that's hybrid genetic. You got so much man-made mass farming corporate greed that's coming in the game, that, you know, peanut oil, lard, shortening, these cooking things, you got to be like, yo, be careful. If you use something, you be like, okay, well, let me use the cold pressed olive oil. Now, I mean, like, instead of the corn oil, let me use the canola oil. Not because olive oil is some holy oil. I mean, just because they anointed the priest with it and all that. It's like, nah, it's that oil from that fruit is just better than lard or animal shortening for that matter. You know what I mean? So you want to be conscious of what you're doing. You know what I mean? Be like, instead of frying your food, instead of getting a deep fryer, get you they got the air dryer out there now. Know what I mean? Instead of frying your fish, bake the fish. Broil the fish in the oven, you know. So it's like just trying to balance it all out. Now, I mean, you know, it's like even something as simple as coffee creamer. I remember, I ain't gonna get into that. I don't get into no products and all that, but it was like we bought some coffee creamer. We always was drinking, in fact, for a while. Then one day it didn't taste right. I was like, let me read this. So I read the label. I'm like, yo, what the heck is this? It's like 15 ingredients in a coffee creamer. Like, nah. It's like, no, we ain't playing with that no more. You know what I mean? So we ain't put that in the house in years. We got rid of that crap. You know what I mean? So it's like simple things that used to be natural. It's like crazy now. Like I used to eat party mix. Party mix was pretzels and corn chips and cheese doodles mixed up. You know what I mean? I used to put hot sauce on that. And in fact, I used to eat that when I was in my vegan stuff too, because there wasn't no meat in there. It was just vegetable oils and stuff like that, canola oil, whatever. But now it's like a million ingredients. It's just completely something deadly. Like, you can't pay me to eat a bag of darn party mix in this damn time. Know what I mean? So you know, you got to be careful how you move on the planet in this day and time. Master Muhammad, in the article titled "Awake," Master Muhammad told Down Elijah Muhammad, he said he despises voodoo, witchcraft, and root doctors. His thing is like, yo, they using technology. Like, yo, it's like real voodoo, real witchcraft, and real root doctors are really nothing but chefs that teach you natural processes. Realistic. It's nothing magical, no bad luck, no superstition, no omens, none of that. Know what I mean? But there is real benefits in understanding berries and roots and tree barks and leaves and fruits and vegetables on the face of the planet Earth. That's a real science. So you got to be careful how you play with that. There's thousands of herbs on the planet Earth. I know people like eat mushrooms, this, that, and the other. The Ambulance How to Live book 1 be like, we don't eat no mushrooms in book 1. We don't eat no mushrooms in book number 2. Why? You got to understand this. First of all, a mushroom by nature is something that grows from death. Mushrooms are what? Fungus. That's the first thing. You just look at nature itself. Mushrooms are fungus. Step 1. You can't just tell black folks to eat mushrooms. I put mushrooms in there and mix it up with some beans and put some couscous in it and made you some barbecue steak. And you be like, yo, I'm going to tell you 2 true stories. The first story is a friend of mine, he ate a mushroom, jumped up, and ran in the street and got hit by a car and died. That's the first time I understood how the mushrooms, that shrooms, people get high with some mushrooms. That's the first thing I peeped, like, it can make you hallucinate. That's a dangerous thing because they put it in all kind of drugs in this day and time. All right. Then you have mushrooms like the death cap mushroom, one of the most deadliest mushrooms on the planet Earth. This is a mushroom that if you don't know what you're doing, you take that mushroom and you feed it to your husband, you feed it to your wife, and you feed it to your child. Everybody in the house going to get sick and die. Everybody. They might live because they got rushed to the hospital or whatever the case may be. They might start vomiting and get that crap out that system. Who knows? But on average, these mushrooms are known to kill people all over the planet Earth. Now, I mean, people that just take and eat sushi and they accidentally cut the bladder of that puffer fish, drop dead in Japan every year. Now, I mean, you can't eat everything on the planet because it's natural. That's some spooky pseudoscience stuff. I mean, that's dangerous. Another herbal experience I seen was a good friend of mine, good FOI brother under brother Minister Silas Muhammad at the time. But long story short, I seen him one day, and I just came to him and just tried to give him the greetings. And when I went to shake his hand, he's like, "Oh no, 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 I don't want to touch you." So I'm like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Oh, my hands." I was like, "What you mean?" He opened his hands and he had two holes in his hands like Jesus Christ with thick pus coming out his hands. I'm like, "Yo, what's wrong with your hands?" He's like, "It's coming out the bottom of my feet also." What? He's like, "Oh, I was on my vegan John, know what I mean? And we was taking natural herbs. We was eating dandelion root, know what I mean? And we was eating all natural dandelion. And I'm like, what dandelion? He's like, the dandelions. Like, dandelion out there? Like, yeah. They spray pesticides on that stuff. No, I ain't know, but I take and ate this vegan stuff and I took the herbs, and man, I was sick all night. And when I woke up, I'm like, "Yo, you got to go to the hospital right now. Go to the white man and let this white man get you balanced out." See, a lot of times people be like, "Oh, we ain't gonna listen. I ain't listen to the doctors. I'm going to listen to this pseudoscientist, this root doctor, this wizard, this witchcraft, this warlock, this herbalist that don't understand the sciences of life." See, the white man could be wrong too, but you want someone that took the time to study the sciences of life. If you're talking herbs and you're not a botanist, you don't know the science of botany, you don't understand peaches have their origin in China, bananas have their origins in West Africa, was brought over. If you don't understand the science of how this stuff happens, it's like, yo, you can't eat raw cashews. They will kill you. Hey, like, no, you're misunderstanding what's really happening. The white man be like, "Hell no, we don't eat no raw." You know how many people die eating cashews? We raw cashews are really cooked. We boil them, we roast them, we steam them. We have to process them cashews. Those that think they eat raw food, no, the message said how to live. He said raw food to kill you. It's like, yes, a lot of vitamins and nutrients in raw foods. You know what I mean? It's like it's like just because if somebody be like, "Oh, but you know what I mean, I'm vegetarian, I'm vegan, I eat kale solids." It's like, yo, understand that vitamin K in kale thickens your blood. Like, you know how many people physically die every year of kale poisoning? You know how people have heart attacks? Their blood gets so clotted and thick because they don't understand the science of how to eat to live or die. So people are physically dying every single day. They're dying because they're trying to eat good food, and they're dying because they're eating fast food. So my thing is, like, you gotta balance all this stuff out. You wanna look at it and understand it. Be like, yo, like, this tomato in this fast food restaurant, look at it, just simply does not look like a tomato from Mother Nature. It's like it was made in a laboratory. There are tomatoes that they put meat inside the DNA of the tomato. It's fish in the tomato. So you want to know the source of it, understand the science of it. You want to read the labels. You want to be careful. Don't take things hook, line, and sinker. Know what I mean? So luckily the brother, I should say, fortunately or mathematically, the brother that had ate the dandelion that had toxins all on it, when they analyzed him and studied his blood and seen what was going on, they realized through culture tests and things of that nature that what the problem was, he took he just took a natural herb supplement in his diet, but he was asthmatic. So when he ate that herb and then sprayed his asthma pump and put that asthma pump on his lungs with that dandelion root, it almost physically killed him. So you want to understand, as the ancestors taught us, every cause has an effect. Every action produces a reaction. God adds and multiplies, the devil divides and subtracts. There are protons, positive forces, but there are neutral forces. Sometimes the herbs ain't going to work, but then there are electrons. Sometimes the herb's going to be your worst enemy. So you don't want to be against or for anything. You want to be for common sense, natural things, clean things, and balance. You want good health. You want peace. You want wealth. You want happiness. You want love. You want safety. You want freedom, justice, and equality. This is the right state. This is what you should strive for. Now, I remember some years ago, back in this was I would say like either the late 80s, early 90s. I was watching a Christian program with I think it was Pat Robertson, and he had a little Christian program he was doing with a doctor, and it caught my attention because first of all, he was explaining how he just had knee surgery. And at that time, he explained, he avoided the getting the knee checked out for a long time. But he was like, he wanted everybody to know that the technology at that time was so advanced, they operated on his knee. And I think he got out the hospital the same day. And he like, my knee feels better than it did 20 years ago. Like he was like, but the surgery was a success. But he had a guest on, a doctor, and the doctor showed the film. And he said, I want y'all to see something. Now, at this time, this when was eating the ramen soups and eating our vegetarian stuff. So we eating this enriched wheat soup that's really sugar, and it came with a little season pack. And I used to like spicy sauce. I used to get the spicy one. And the soups literally was destroying black men. I mean, literally, our blood just simply could not assimilate that crap into our system. And the doctor explained it was something in the seasoning. He said it's called MSG, monosodium glutamate. And he said, I want to show y'all a film. He showed the time-enhanced film of, it was like a cancer cell. And he took a pack of that soup and sprinkled it inside the water. And that little cancer cell, mitosis, it's turned from 2 cells to 4 to 8, 16. I'm like, yo, you can't pay me to eat these joints no more. And with all due respect, the good thing is on the corporate side, what they did was they changed the ingredients. They changed the ingredients and they took the monosodium glutamate out of ramen soup. So I'm not trying to throw stones at the soup. Some poor people, college kids, that's all they got to eat. Know what I mean? So you just want to be careful. It's like any other ultra processed food. But the thing about this monosodium, it made me want to know the science of it. So I started doing my research, studying, what is the atomic structure of this MSG? What is it basically? Know what I mean? And looking at it is like looking at some salt. Know what I mean? And if you taste it, it don't taste like nothing. But it's a flavor enhancer. So if you put MSG on barbecue potato chips, they gonna really taste like barbecue. If you put MSG on lemon heads and give it to somebody, it's gonna taste like real sour lemon. If you put it in any food, it's going to enhance the sweetness, the sour, the bitterness of that particular thing. And genetically, our taste buds, our tongue, our hard and soft palate, when we eat the food, we become addicted to the MSG that's in that food. Our brain light up like, yo, that was like a blast of some drugs right there. That's like, yo, woo. So we're going to want it again and again. I mean, it's like Pablo's dog. Even if we ain't hungry, they ring the bell, bing. Our saliva glands kick in. I mean, our eyes get all watery. Our nervous system starts, our hands start shaking. We ready to eat something else. We're like, yo, you just ate. I'm going to eat a snack. I'm going to get some cookies. I'm going to give me a slice of cake. Want some ice cream? Like, yo, I just had the itis. Just got finished eating. You, no, I'm good. But the thing is, if you got that MSG in you, you literally, the corporations, they have chemists that study this stuff. They have psychologists that study how the human brain operates. Now, I mean, they know how to do subliminal suggestions and make you, they know how to advertise stuff in such ways and play certain sounds and musics, and you won't even realize that they're literally controlling your brain like a remote control. But the thing about Satan's power, his time is up. So it's like having a remote and it has rotten or corroded batteries in it. I mean, it's like as long as it's able to send that red infrared beam, now I mean, as long as we stay attached to things emotionally, now I mean, they're going to be able to control us. But the signal is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and the masses is getting stronger and stronger. People are waking up. We're waking up all over the planet Earth, and that's the good side of technology. I mean, it's making the world smarter, smaller, and smarter. Now, I mean, it's allowing us to see the effects of institutionalized racism and imperialism and corporate greed and classism and sexism. So people are starting to like, yo, we got to get back to our humanity. we gotta work this nonsense out. Now I mean, but at the same time, you got to understand that these super corporations is literally like digging holes in the ground, and they thinking like, whoa, let me get this straight. If we put some fish, if we take this hole and fill it up with some water and put some native plants and stuff in there, and we can put some male and female fish in there, they don't have no predators. So when the fish start reproducing and having all these babies, it's going to be so many fish in this fish farm. It's ridiculous. This is like, yo, we getting like maybe 20, 30 fish for a penny. I mean, so now you'll go in places like Dollar Tree. You know what I mean? You go to Walmart, it's like dirt cheap fish. But you got to make sure it's natural fish. Is it fish really from a clean source? Like the Atlantic Ocean got a lot of mercury in there. I mean, so you got to be like, yo, people are like, oh, I'm taking sea moss. And it's like, do you understand sea moss can kill you? It can cause brain damage. Do you understand how polluted the seas are, the oceans, the lakes? Master Muhammad told us the Nile River is 4,690 miles long and 1 3/8 miles wide. You understand how polluted the Nile River is in 2024? So just because something was a source of life in the past don't mean it can't become a source of death. The Black Sea is the Dead Sea because the water ain't moving. In order for water to properly bond, as far as our bodies, we need atoms of hydrogen bonded with oxygen. We need H2O. I mean, 99% of the atoms are hydrogen atoms. But people are taking and adding extra atoms to the water, talking about your pH levels, and they just trying to sell you some water. They trying to sell you like it's like, yo, it's like the good thing is a lot of the, not all of them, but a lot of the companies is getting smart. So they like making sure that their spring water is not in toxic plastics. Know what I mean? But at the same time, if you dig your well, like we live in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is 150 miles by 300 miles. That's 45,000 square miles of land. Pennsylvania is the king. the king owed William Penn's father some money, like 85,000, which was like big money back in the day. But he didn't have the money. So he told William Penn, listen, being as though you Protestants, you Christians are being persecuted over here from the Catholic Church, whatever, I got a deal for you. I got this land in the New World called Pennsylvania. Now, it wasn't Pennsylvania at first, Sylvania. It was just the woodlands. But they prefixed it with William Penn name and called it Penn's Woodlands or Pennsylvania. I mean, of course, it was a minor little thing. When they got here, the Aboriginal, Native American, Black Indians already lived here, and it was their land, but that was a minor thing. European imperialists like, oh, kill all of them, take that. Rape, rob, and murder, disease them, pollute them, run them off, put them on reservations, and just steal all that stuff. Still Mexico, still all this, still California, incorporate Texas, that's still Louisiana, let's get all of it. Like, what you mean you bought it from the Louisiana Purchase? It's like, yo, how's y'all trading our stuff? That's like somebody breaking in your crib, somebody breaking your house, and they have an open house, and you see other people coming in, and they be like, well, look, what we could do is this. We're going to make this a duplex. Y'all can live upstairs and pay us rent, and we just live downstairs. We like, yo, this is my house. I mean, so people don't look at it from the position of the oppressed. I mean, they look at it like might makes right. Like, yo, it's like, yo, y'all can't just come willy-nilly stealing people land. Like, you can't come out of Europe and just take over India and flood China with dope and take over Africa and Australia and Cuba and Jamaica and Haiti. And it's like, yo, y'all was wrong for that. You wrong. So you gotta be on the tip. Like, let me try to bring some balance back to the world. Let me stop acting like a devil and start acting like a human being. Let me take and realize, like, yo, this world is imbalanced because of our ancestors. It was no mystery gods and no mystery devils. It was human gods and human devils, human angels and human demons right here on the planet Earth, using their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in the form of protons, positive, godly forces, neutrons, neutral, mortal forces, and electrons, negative, evil forces. That's the reality of what you're seeing happening on the face of this planet, family. Now, I mean, so we want to understand this science. Now, I mean, and it's not a new science. It's not something unique from me. Now, I mean, I stand on the shoulders of all the champions. Now, I mean, past, present, and future. Now, I mean, but you want to balance it all out. Don't agree with everything I say. Don't agree with everything anybody say. You piece it apart. You analyze it. And if you find it to be the truth, then you lay claim to that. Now, I mean, it's like a crane. Now, I mean, the crane and that controller had that wrecking ball. He like, yo, I'm not just going to build. I got to knock this wall down. I got to destroy some of this. I mean, you got to build and destroy some of this stuff. Some of the stuff got to go. Some can remain. Some parts we got to be completely restructured. Got to be new. Now, I mean, so this is how you rebuild civilizations. Now, I mean, this is how you get human beings to elevate or vibrate back to that level of God and Goddess, where we on a level like, yo, we don't need fiat money, Bitcoin, or any currency. I mean, we need spiritual money. I mean, we live like, we be like, yo, we respect each other. We're like, yo, sick people are taken care of. We don't care if they got health care. I mean, it's like health care come from Mother Nature. She grew the herbs. She made enough land for everybody. It's like all this imperialism with the borders and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's just fear. I mean, that's just ignorance. That's just hatred. I mean, but at the end of the day, how to eat to live is a science. It's a spiritual science. It's not an Islamic thing. It's not a Christian thing, a Jewish thing. It's the nature in which we were created. The messenger told us about one of our scientists known by George Washington as the professor. Now, I mean, and Manly P. Hall mentions him in his tomes on his book. And basically, the short version is this black Muslim god that they considered to be the professor, he came over and met up with them, and they sat down and they had a dinner. They was going to eat. So, the founding fathers, they got the big banquet table. They got ham, turkey, chicken, vegetables, fruits, breads, you name it, wines, whatever. So he didn't eat anything. And they couldn't understand why he didn't eat anything. Like, why the professor didn't eat anything? So at the next meeting, he ain't eat anything again. And they asked him about it. And he explained to him, they was like, well, we got fresh fruit here. And, back then they used to put it inside of they would take and hand weave a straw horn, called a cornucopia. And they would put fruit in it, like apples and grapes and bananas or whatever they imported grown locally. So, the professor seen the fruit on the table like a fruit bowl in this day and time. They's like, well, why you don't eat that? He said, that's like eating out of a garbage can. I mean, and they was confused and they was like, we don't understand. And he said, you want to know how you're supposed to eat for real? And he's like, yeah. He said, come on. He took him outside. And when he took him outside, he took him to an apple tree. And when he took them to the apple tree, he showed them how the apple tree was structured. The roots in the earth, the bark on the tree, the branches come out of the trunk of the tree. The trunk is stronger than any of its branches. The leaves, how they absorb the sunlight, the water. It's a whole science here. But he told them to look at this apple. He said, you notice the apple, like any life form, the apple is connected to its mother by this stem. Once you pick this piece of fruit off of that tree, this piece of fruit starts to die. Because once you pick it off here in nature, if you didn't do anything, that tree would let that apple hang there until it matures. And once it matures, that apple will fall off of that tree and it would hit the ground. And it would germinate in the ground. And that seed would send a shoot down and then send a sprout up and grow another apple tree. This is the way Mother Nature acts. So all you got to do is just look at life. Look at the earth. Look at the sun, the moon, the stars, the waterfalls. Look at the summer, the winter, the spring. Look at the earthquakes. Look at the natural fires, the lightning, the rain, the hell, the grapple, and you'll see that we live in a living ecosystem that needs to be purified and made balanced. But the Holy Quran teaches us in chapter 99, Surah 99, titled Al-Zilzal, or the shaking, that there's going to come a time when the earth is going to quake. She's going to cast off her burden. She's going to get tired of us. Y'all keep polluting and destroying. Y'all want to war, blow up nuclear bombs. It's like, no, the universe would be like, y'all going to go before we go. The earth be like, we was here before y'all was here. I mean, so the Holy Quran uses a unique Arabic term. It says that he or she that does a thorough of good will see it. And he or she that does a thorough of evil will see it. That word thorough means atom. So when we do an atom or a proton or a positive force of good, we'll see it. And when we do a thorough or proton or electron of evil, we'll see it. So the struggle is to let your good outweigh your bad. This is the ancient Kemetic system of weighing the heart. Now, I mean, don't be heartless. Have a good heart. Have a heart of love, not that you fall in love. That's the devil's trickology. You don't fall in love. The righteous rise up to love. You have 7 dimensions to your mind: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the soul, the self, and the will. You must vibrate off of the physical plane, out of your emotions. So what, you went to school, to college, and got a science degree? That's the mental dimension. There's something beyond that. The spiritual. These ancestors of ours, these ancient texts like the Bible and the Quran and the Torah, these books are full of wisdom. But if we got a smartphone and we stupid, we got smart, good books, but we misinterpreting, mistranslating, mistransliterating, misunderstanding them, then we're going to come out of that with God-ordained slavery and this people are the chosen of God and these people aren't. We should, slaves, obey your masters. If someone smack you in the cheek, turn the cheek and all. We're going to come up with imbalance. Not that these ancient spiritual scientists known as Nabi or prophets or Rasuls or messengers, not that they taught some spooky organized religion. It's just that in 2024, all of the 4,000 religions on the planet Earth are counterfeit religions. They took the original teachings of these spiritual sciences and they all were saying the exact same thing, just in a different way. All of the cultures, whether it's pyramids in Egypt or pyramids over in Iraq or ancient Babylon or pyramids over in South America, they had the same basic principles: peace, spiritual science, health, family, nations, humanity, one with nature, freedom, justice, and equality. They just wanted to live with heaven on earth. But when we get out of that realm, that dimension, we can go into an emotional state where we transform heaven on earth into hell on earth. We know we could produce hell on earth. Look at the condition of the world now. But with the reformation of our thinking, by transforming our thoughts, deeds, and actions, we can bring the kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, or in that 7th dimension. That highest plane is the will of God. Not that you're going to rise up to the sky to some magical God in the sky. No, you'll see that God and that goddess in the mirror. You yourself will be the agent of change. You yourself will help remake the world. But you have to do your little part. All it takes is one atom to spark. All it takes is one rod of light traveling 186,000 miles per second, and it will instantly unite with another rod of light. Light links with light to dispel the darkness. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding or truth dispels the lies, the trickology, the falsehood, the ignorance, the slander, the gossip. It's destroying the world. Envy and jealousy has no mask. A child can draw a picture of a smiling face. You got it on your phone as an emoji. You could make a angry face. You can make a drunk face, but you can't make an envious face. A jealous person can smile in your face, but they backstabbers. They will want to destroy you with a cold knife or a hot bullet. So you got to understand, in this realm and at this level, in this dimension of the struggle for peace, truth, freedom, justice, and equality, we as sentient beings, we're paragons in the flesh. There is no thing in creation. I don't care. The sun can't outthink humanity. The moon can't outthink humanity. The atoms can't out. The universe can't outthink humanity. You could jump in the ocean and get a giant brain of a whale. It can't outthink humanity. The ape can't outthink humanity. The snake can't outthink. The birds can't outthink humanity. The only thing that can outthink humanity is humanity. The only thing that's going to save humanity is humanity. Until next time, the struggle continues. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to this new podcast. We'll be coming to you next week if our mathematics are in order. And hopefully we'll be able to share some more light to help dispel the darkness. Until then, the struggle continues. As-salam Allah. Peace to the gods and goddesses.